Okay.
I said go live.
Oh,
And
there
you're
we go.
on.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
You're on. So this episode segment, whatever you call this thing, is about the future of what this thing will be. But before we go there, I want to touch on something about branding.
Okay.
So I've been, on this poker journey, trying to get, trying to do my thing from zero, whatever. Decided to figure out whatever this persona I'm doing. So I went and bought this jewelry, right? And my idea is like warrior, right? Like you go to this poker table, one person wins in these tournaments. It's a battlefield. Like I love all of that, all of what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're watching live, you'll be able to see it. But if you're hearing this, you won't be able. But I bought these rings, and the first thing I thought of
Wait,
was,
those are what you showed me?
yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead.
So I got them, and
I'm excited.
I bought a pendant too. And when I don't know, maybe I spent a lot of money, maybe I didn't. I don't know. It wasn't as much as my wife's wedding ring, right? So to me, it's not a lot. Which I don't even know if you can compare the two. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But when I look at this,
I don't think you can, but it's all good.
No, it's all good. When you look at this thing, initially I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, that's nice packaging," and instantly I thought, like, "Wow!" Like the value in my head went up. Like, "Oh, I paid all this money. Oh, it's worth it."
Yep.
Look at the packaging; it's worth. Because if it would have came in a plastic baggie, zipped up, like you get from Temu, you'd be like,
I never bought that from Temu yet. So
I have. Yeah. They said shop like a billionaire. I got excited.
Oh yeah.
All right. So one thing that I've always respected from Apple is how they package things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the experience. And I don't remember if it was from Apple I heard this or was this a marketer, but they were saying like how the box when you open it up, they're hard to open, but it's this effect that it gives. It's like sliding out,
Yeah.
this big reveal, which I don't know that I was assumed that was done on purpose.
Yeah.
So I look at this box and it reminds me similar to that, right?
Yeah.
So let's open this together. So the first thing is I open this box and in the inside it says metal card.
Oh wow.
It's meant now this don't come out. It stays where it's at.
Okay.
But it has some like engraving on it, and it's like basically who they are. Geez, I'm screwing this whole camera thing up.
No,
but it's metal.
Yeah.
It's basically like a metal business card.
Yeah.
And it's engraved and all like you can't. I mean, I guess I could pull it out, but I'll ruin the packaging. And I was like, oh my gosh, look how cool that is. Right? Again, value now goes up.
Yeah.
Perceived value. Then when you open it, well, one, they have this little insert here that comes out and it has like a cleaning cloth that has their insignia on here. All this, like, I'm just super impressed with. And then when you get it, it comes in this little baggie, got their logo on it.
Oh, that's
everything is custom. Now I gotta show you the rings. And again, the reason why I chose these rings, because they sell other stuff out there, but these rings tell a story.
Yeah.
Right. So this is like the 300, gladiator,
like the Spartan or whatever.
Yes.
What were they in 300?
Yeah, the Spartans.
This is Sparta.
Yeah, I watched 300. Linda's like, why are you making me watch all these movies? I was like, because I'm buying the rings.
Yeah.
But anyways, inside the ring, there's a story of what was going on, what that thing is. So that's that one. This one is like Vikings. Can't even see it. Let's see. Camera focus.
I need to put my glasses on just in general.
All right.
My eyes are so bad.
So it's like a Viking ring, and inside the Viking ring, it has like Odin and the ships, and I was like, oh, slick. So then I went and I bought this thing. And this thing is even cooler because this is a pendant that you wear.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing right here is the story, and it turns.
Oh,
And it's the story of whatever the Roman gladiators. All this to say, the packaging gave it more value. I felt secure with
yeah,
my purchase.
yeah. No,
'Cause I think
that's. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say because when you like everyone when they think branding, they're like, oh, logo and colors and this and that. But you said it best. You said branding is how it makes you feel.
Yeah,
And when I'm looking at like the packaging and all this put together, it's like, oh my gosh, this makes me feel good about my purchase. It makes me feel that it's valuable. It could have cost them $2 to make.
yeah,
And I spent way more than that to buy these rings and whatever, because I'm trying to tell a story,
yeah,
right? So that's encompassed in it too. That whole like metal card, like whatever story that tells you, it says every Knight Rider piece tells a story. Oh my gosh, stop it. It says every piece has a soul. What you find in this box was conceived in the mind of a artist and was brought to life through the hands of a truly gifted craftsman. Look beyond the surface and you'll see our heart and soul captured in every painstaking detail. Love it.
yeah. I love it too, man. So the book. So I'm writing a book. Okay.
Stop it.
Yeah, but it's gonna be. You can't even call it a book. It's like a glorified blog post. But I'm gonna put it in book form because it's really. But it has to do with what you said, and I call it the 3 Ws. Okay. Walt, Willie, and the Wizard.
Oh,
And it's infusing Walt Disney, Willy Wonka, and the Wizard of Oz into the experiences that you want your audience to have when they're interacting with your brand. And like you said, it's like all of that. Like when you go, if you have you ever been lucky enough to go to Disney World or some of those places, and you see even Universal Studios, like, and you just see like the extra care they go into, like when you're walking through the lines. It's like I feel like businesses forget that stuff, and you just illustrated that and just how excited you were just about the packaging. Like it reinforced it. Like, okay, I bought the right product,
yeah.
And when you think about how expensive it is to go to these parks now, it's like they kind of have to do that because it's like you're in line and you're like, okay, well, all those little details made it worth 100 because I think now it's like $195 a ticket now.
It's so
So
expensive to go to these parks. I think
yeah,
it's ridiculous. How's
yeah.
people? What the?
I
Anyways,
know, I know. That's a little side note, but yeah, I just think that so the book that I'm gonna put together is just like, and it's because you say this all the time. Like my favorite part is the branding, and I think that whole like when I think of like the Wizard of Oz, it's like they're going to meet this person that has this bigger than life persona, but they've never met him yet. But the wizard uses all types of marketing and branding techniques to make themselves bigger than what they really are. And then when they go see the wizard, it's like this big head. And I'm not talking about conning people, but I'm just talking about being okay with doing the pageantry and the extra little stuff, right? To make it feel like people are coming to see you. People are coming on this road to come see you because you have the solution to their problems. And in the Wizard of Oz, they all had a problem, right? And then Willy Wonka was this whole thing of like, he went so far to build this factory just for candy. And, everyone could have a Willy Wonka factory, no matter what your business. You could be a law firm and have that. And then just obviously Walt Disney is the easiest one because it's just like there's just a magic and everything about, the movies and all that stuff. So I think that they did that is all I'm saying.
yeah, for sure. I think when you mention like the details of the parks, I think of Disney. The first thing is I think of, and I went to Animal Kingdom and I went on the safari. Right, you sit in the safari, and this is where they give you that most detail. They're like, all right, every habitat of the rhinoceros, right? This tree is from Africa. And like this is the tree that they scratch their back on, and it's you can't get this tree nowhere but Africa, right?
Yeah.
Or wherever they roam. And it's like you would never know that stuff, right? The detail in it, but it means something. And when you make that connection, when you
Mm-hmm.
know it, it's like, oh my gosh, look at the detail they went into it. I go to Epcot all the time for dinner, and we walk into, they have se- sections of different countries, and they only hire people from that country,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you're in China, it's all Chinese people. If you're in Canada, it's all Canada people. And it's funny because I asked them, I said, hey, look, we would love to try, because it's all Canada food then, right? So it's like, what food do you guys have that's delicious in Canada? You gotta try ours, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And as I leave there, I look at like the ambiance of the trees in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I bet you this is from Canada, right?
Yeah.
Like I have no
Yeah.
idea, but I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
sure, almost
Yeah.
guarantee that there's some connection there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know that too. Like what I heard you say that, which I feel like is what's happening to you with that stuff, the jewelry and the rings and the pendant. It's like it kind of not forms you. Why can't I think of the word?
I'm gonna say this: it turns me into an ambassador for that business.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, like the yes, but it it allows you to experience something like okay. So when you go to like you said, you go to Animal Kingdom, it transplants you out of your world you're in, and it puts you in a new world,
In their world.
in their world. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of those when you put the rings on. Now you have them on all. I don't know if you're ever going to do that. You gonna have them on all your fingers, and you're gonna go at a poker table, and you got your shades on, you got your pendant, like you literally are like you literally are like a new person. Like
Yeah.
it's like a part of your wardrobe or your persona. I don't know. So I just think
Listen,
that's one.
that was the goal of it, and I think knowing that there's even more behind the ring. There's a story behind the story, which
Yeah.
allows me to, like, if I said brand ambassador, but it's more like I sink deeper, I connect deeper with them, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I would almost say I'm loyal to them, just like Apple people are
Yeah.
loyal to
Yeah.
Apple,
Yeah.
right? Like, now, if I'm gonna buy jewelry, I'm gonna buy from them.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care what Temu sells it for $2. I don't. I won't be 900 over here. It's because whatever.
Yeah, but Marty Newmeyer said never differentiate yourself with price. Don't you ever use that. Use your brand.
For sure.
Because it's a race to the bottom at that point if you're doing that.
So how does this relate to people, or how should it relate? What should people get out of this section?
Well, you said it. It's it's all about the emotion and experience that people associate with whatever the company sells, makes, or offers, right? Because that's really one of the best ways to differentiate your company is give people a better emotional feeling. And because I mean, let's just think about beer. There's like thousands of beer companies, um, whiskeys, vodkas. Like there's
Oh,
thousands of brands.
Liquid Death.
Yeah. Well, okay. So water. There's thousands of water companies, and Liquid Death said we're going to put water in a beer can. Okay.
Have you ever bought a Liquid Death? Do
Yeah, my daughters drink it all the time.
you know there's a story on the can itself about how this, I'm gonna make it up right now, but it's like this hiker went into this journey and was finding this water stream, and this water gave him real life. It's a crazy ass story.
Yeah, yeah.
If you got a can in front of you, you should read it
There's,
later.
I tell you,
But
there's
it's
definitely
wild.
cans in the house.
You'll be surprised. There was a whole story behind it. I was like, oh my gosh, I like this brand just because it's their story.
Well, that's a storytelling element, right? Like I think that you tell a better story. This is something that we both kind of share because I know you've always talked about story and the narrative and all that. And the greatest art form of all time is storytelling. Movies, like all the way back from the campfire to we still go see movies in the movie theater, right? We still want to watch series on TV, and the better the story, the more viewers, the more the commercials they can sell, right? Stories sell. It's that simple. So it's funny that you know, it's funny that you told. I didn't know there's a story in a can. And like that's kind of this whole point of what we're talking about is like getting people an emotional connection and stories give people emotional connection. I mean, I think some of these founders even lie about how their companies were started. Like, did Steve Jobs and them really do that in a garage? Was it really just like that simple? Like, we were in a garage? Because after that, every founder started their company in a garage. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But the stories, man, it's like the lore, like the mythology of it. You know, it's like it's something. It's crazy, you know. But I think so. I'm just gonna say last little piece, and then I'll shut up and let you kind of add your little piece. But your question was like, what people should pull from this, and I think number one is the intangible aspect of your company. That's the part that a lot of business owners do not know how to formulate. It's the intent. Branding is intangible. It's not something you can touch. It doesn't even help you right away. Like, you have to build it up. And it does come from that emotional connection or those emotional feelings. But here's the crazy part. Some of it does come from the physical stuff, and some of it comes from like the story, right? So like, you love the packaging, right? But then there's like this whole other aspect of like, there's a story behind every piece. That's intangible, right? So I just think that that's kind of where entrepreneurs have to kind of like just stay in that space a little bit and figure that out. But I think that is the number one way to differentiate in a long term and never have to really worry about your price, because it is, people are, there's something called brand loyalty, and it's for a reason. It's
For sure. Yeah. So don't go cheap on your branding.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's why. Listen,
and not even that you have to spend a lot of money into it. It's just it's truly the thought behind what it is.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because when you said cheap, people probably thought about it as financially cheap, right? But say you were broke and you're dating this girl and you guys are in love and you were broke, right? You had no money in the bank account, and you said, babe, I'm gonna get you a gift, and you got her a gift, right? And you just went and got her a dollar card and didn't even write anything in it, and like gave it to her, and it was like, okay, you spent like $2 on this, right? But say you spent no money, and you just said, you got a piece of paper, and you wrote her a love letter on a piece of paper, okay? Everything was in the house. You didn't have to spend no money, and you gave her that. That is what you were saying. It's like, it's not necessarily about the money you spent. It's about the detail and the thought behind how you execute it, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think she would love that gift more than just some card,
way more.
Yeah. So I think that's
take her out to dinner, go to a movie, go to a comedy show, all of that.
Yeah.
And it would be the letter that would hold stronger than all of it.
Exactly. And I think you need to do that with your people, your tribe, your community. It's like basically create a love letter for them,
I like it.
So,
well, I think moving on, this podcast episode, whatever it was called, the future of this podcast.
Yeah.
And I think we had a conversation. Let's catch people up to speed. So I think in business, you have to figure out, because time is so valuable, how to be efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And just like creating this type of content can be broken up into 7 different ways, used for all different platforms, repurpose things. And typically people will pay more for something packaged in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. We heard this, right?
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, it's like, how do we be efficient with this content? Now, you said this before. You're like, hey, look, I want to take this content, I'm going to break it up, I'm going to use it for whatever you were going to use it for. And that's exactly right. So I thought about taking it a step further. There's something that me and you both always wanted to accomplish. And I thought, since we're getting together on this podcast, it could be delivered through a podcast. And I have an idea of how to make it even better, that people monetize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the goal is, one, me and Demetrius do these things called business intensives. And for people to be a part of a business intensive, typically it's 2 to 4 hours. I think we always hit it around 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But charge people $2,500 to do it. They get a strategy session. We go through all the levels, if you want to call it the stages, the success story, their success path of like taking them from where they are, even going ahead of that, right? 'Cause depending on where they are, sometimes we have to go backwards a little bit to understand
Mm-hmm.
how to move them forward. But going through this whole success path of like, hey, we're going to take you here, we're going to show you, you know, your core messaging, we're going to help you pick which website avenue funnel you need to choose. Then we're going to choose a route for traffic, and all along the way, we're going to follow your customer journey and move people along. So we want to build a course,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to deliver the course here on the podcast. Basically, we'll start with the business intensive, and then
Mm-hmm.
it will like dive deeper into different sections, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the business intensive is the start of the success path. It is the
Mm-hmm.
foundation that moves everything forward. Now the question is, why would someone, if they could just listen to these things, why would they pay if I could just go back to the episodes and listen? So first, like this is all about creating some type of offer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So brainstorming this off the fly.
Yeah, no, that's what I love about what we're doing, because we're like so transparent.
All right. So 5 minutes before this podcast, it hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down what and how.
Mm-hmm.
The what is on this podcast.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do. This is what the business intensive. This is what your avatar needs, right? Go through
Mm-hmm.
all of that piece of it.
Oh man, that's brilliant.
Okay. And
yeah, because
and
I already know where you're going.
Come on. And on the paid section, which is going to be a membership, right? We don't
Yeah.
know what that price is, but it's going to be
Yeah.
an ongoing membership, because because one, things evolve all the time. New strategies come out, new
Yeah.
tactics happen for Google, and we're going to
Yeah.
go over all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what is here? Stories, questions, what is here? How behind the membership is going to
Yeah.
maybe have a deeper dive
Yeah.
into the content if
Yeah.
it needs it.
Yeah.
But also have worksheets, the kind of like fill in the blanks to give you what you needed from the what,
Yeah.
and now the how is behind the membership.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I love it. Can I add something?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I love it. I love how it's like we're gonna talk about the what, we're gonna break out the how, and that's kind of the why you would sign up, because the how is very important. But the part I was this is an epiphany I had yesterday with my cousin, who is the COO of the Giant Maker company, right? Because I'm just not the most organized person. I'm more of a CEO type person. I'm a starter, not a finisher. I like to cast vision, but it's hard for me to follow it through without the right people around me. Okay, so his personality type is he's literally everything has to like logically make sense to him before he can like feel good about it. So he like forces me to like kind of like I can't just jump out the window like I want to all the time, which is great because we balance each other out, right? I'm a risk taker. He's not a risk taker, right? So I said, bro, we had a conversation about something yesterday, and me and you, I'm gonna bring you into this too. We were having a conversation about something, and by the end of the conversation, he's pushing back. I'm pushing back. He's pushing back. I'm jumping back on a call with him. Like, no, I don't. Da-da-da. He's pushing back to me. We're like basically like trying to get through this, but no one's getting offended. No one's mad. But we're literally refining this idea, so it makes sense for him. It makes sense for me, and whatever. And I said, this is why people who go through this and become their companies are successful. That's why they deserve it, because a lot of what makes a business successful is getting through all that other stuff, which is to me the how, right? The behind the scenes, like the other side, right? What the podcast called.
Other side.
That's why that's why these people deserve, when people are like getting paid out millions of dollars for selling their companies, they were probably having moments where they were arguing with their co-founders. They were arguing with their wives. They missed games, or games for their kids, and they had to have sit down with their kids and say, Dad was kind of busy this week, so sorry. Like, there's all this stuff that entrepreneurs go through that I think that that's where the money is really made. And I think that that's one of the pieces that I think that like is going to allow what we're trying to do to be successful. Is because the podcast is for that surfacey stuff. Don't get me wrong, we still go deep, but I would like to put a lot of the extra bits of it behind in the community. You know what I'm saying? Because that's to me where the money is made. It's like, how do you deal with a business partner? Like me and you have had a ups and down relationship over the past 10 years, and it's always good. But the one thing I would say about me and you is we always talk it through. Like we never let it be like you've given me some pretty harsh feedback before. But because I know where it's coming from, because we've gone through that stuff together, I'm like, Michael don't want nothing but the best for me. Right? You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, he calls me out or whatever, but it's like he's not really he's not trying to hurt my feelings. Mm-hmm. So I just think that like that's a part that I would love to also kind of like, again, maybe not this course, but just in general, I think that's what's behind the community. That's where the membership comes, is like a lot of that extra stuff. And to stay on brand with the whole concept of the other side. Like we would love for people to like really get success in marketing and business by really not just knowing just the tactics of that, but also like the nuances and stuff like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the membership is not just stuff that you learn, but it's a place to lean in.
Exactly.
To say, hey, look, I'm struggling here, or I'm having this issue here. How do I overcome this piece?
Yeah.
Or get advice.
Yeah.
So I really like that. Now, over the past week, I've invited a ton of guests on here to come talk, which now they could be strategic, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, look, this part of the course, the podcast, the section, the whatever, we're talking about messaging.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy is going to help with that, with, whatever expertise that he has to provide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I still think it's still relevant.
I do too.
Because part of that is, if you're talking about strategies to grow, is attaching yourself to other. I don't know why I start hating the word influencer, but let's just say expert or people who have their following. Is like, hey, look, I want to provide value to your community, just like you can provide value to my community, and that's how people could get to know more about us and what we do, because we haven't even scratched the surface of the people who out there who really need help. Sometimes I think we live in a bubble.
No, we do. Yeah, absolutely. I know why you hate the word influencer, though.
Tell me.
Just the branding of it. Ooh. The people who call themselves influencers are Gen Z. And it's like, yeah, obviously it's like you have influence, right? But it's like Gen Z took that word. No offense, Gen Z, sorry. But just from my experience, and again, a lot of Gen Z people that listen, if they're listening to this, they're going to be like, okay, you might be right. I honestly feel like Gen Z really doesn't have a grasp on the practicality of the things that they say and do. Right? There's no substance there sometimes. And I'm overly generalizing, right? So there's going to be tons of people in that age group that are not like that. But I'm just talking about a general statement. So they're the ones behind Fyre Fest. They're the ones behind any situations at any music festival where, whatever was promised didn't happen, right? That all the makeup blonde, all the beauty YouTubers who are Gen Z who put out makeup brands that were basically some Timo stuff with their logo slapped on it and got called out by their communities. They don't, like you said, they cheapen the product, right? So I know that's why I think that I like the word expert better, because it's people who are serious about mastery. And I don't think Gen Z is serious about mastery. And that's a lot of times why a lot of us are this age we are, and we're barely just getting into the influencer game, because we want to take the time to master what we knew. They say, I want to be an influencer. And it's like, well, how do you become an influencer? Like, what do you know how to do? You're 21
years old. You ain't even influencing nobody.
so
I heard Cat Williams say that. He's like, you can make money so many ways. You could be an influencer and not even influence nobody.
Yeah.
So funny.
So yeah.
I think not, I guess looking into it, if the word just feels like it was, I'm gonna say the word dirty, but like it looked like it just sounds.
It was cheap.
It was Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Man,
All that.
me and you actually operate businesses.
Yes.
Like literally in the weeds. So
Yes.
go ahead. What were you
And,
gonna say? Oh,
and what me and you do is help other businesses
yeah,
operate their
yeah,
business in the
yeah,
weeds.
yeah,
So there are so many. Somebody asked me this yesterday, like, "Hey, do you only do this type of niche?" I'm like, "Man, I take everybody's money."
yeah,
That's what I said. But at the end of the day, what it does is it allows me to borrow from other, how I'm working with these people, and the home service business, and then my deep diving secrets guy doing
yeah,
so, so I could borrow from it, and like that's how everyone can get success. There
yeah,
there is a formula to do this, and
yeah,
it everybody and I hate saying people fall into a box, so I won't say that, but there are strategic plays to make. It's just how does it benefit your specific niche and your avatar.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so I'm excited about this because
Me
one,
too.
it gives this purpose now.
Can I say one thing real quick that you got me excited about? 10 seconds. When
Please.
you reminded me that we were doing episodes for our course, like right now, or just when we do this, you actually made me super excited.
Okay.
Because it's like just when I hear like building a course, it's like, oh my gosh, but it's like we're doing it.
You have no
It's like,
choice now.
yeah, it's like happening. Sorry.
But it's happening in real time. So
Real
it's
time.
like before. I think there needs to be like 4 or 5 episodes of like what the content's going to be inside of it,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
then we open it up, right?
No, I trust your little formula. So we'll do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh, I just you don't want to put people in there and it be. Actually, hold on, I have an idea.
Okay. Listen, real
What
time.
real time? What if? Because let's talk about early adopters,
Yeah.
right? We're bringing the fire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring everything I have.
Yeah.
What if we did create, let's say, early adopters like pricing?
Mm-hmm.
There's only one episode that's going to be in there, but those people who come in on the first episode,
yeah.
because it'll be a monthly subscription, get it for like super cheap. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say $1, but let's just say $1.
Yeah. No, I'm with it.
And then as it progresses and more content is in there, then the price starts, getting higher and higher.
But that's how the market actually really works, if you want to be honest. Because a lot of times when you go buy bacon is a different price depending on the demand and how much supply is in the market. So you onto something where that junk can be like some crypto where it's just like, look, hey, we got 1,000 people in there now. We got to go up with the price now. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to. Like the demand is there. Like this is the rules of the market, like a free market, right? I like that.
And if people are willing to come in on the very beginning, then they should have some price break and some.
I agree.
They believe in it from the beginning.
And here's another thing I've always dreamed of is to have a community that helps us generate content. And what I mean by that is they're like asking questions. They're giving us tips themselves. They're giving us stuff that worked for them or didn't work for them or whatever that we can use in our episodes to kind of draw from and talk about. And a lot of those people can be guests on the show.
Yes.
Man, you on to something, bro.
Hey, I love it. This is what I know. And my guy, I'm not gonna name his name, but he has made me believe because he is so niched in his area of expertise. And last month made 9,000-10,000, and like we're barely scratching the surface. And I'm like, oh, if he can do it, we can do it.
Man,
I
believe too, and I'm excited for this because
imagine bringing in an extra 10 grand just on a course, because that's what it came from. It came from a course.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would be excited. I mean, I don't know. Like this, I told you this is what I love to do. Like the people don't know this, but we do the business intensive together.
Yeah.
But there's been times where you've brought me in on consulting for a certain client, like a very niche problem to solve.
Yeah.
And we're doing this in real time. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like obviously we're not recording it for no show. It's like I'm on a call with a client and I'm supposed to like show up and show out, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, even with the one call we did with I was gonna say the Gibraltar because of the Rock of Gibraltar, but Walter. When I was on the call and you guys threw that thing in my face.
Yeah.
And I was just asking questions and going through the stuff in real time. Like I feel like we both do that, right? What you came with the whole business model kind of like on the call. I never heard some of this stuff before you said. Like I'm your partner in this, and you saying stuff in real time on the internet. I think that's the magic of what we can bring. It's like we are truly problem solvers in the entrepreneurial space. And we understand that there's only there's rules to the game, and you can stretch the rules and bend the rules just like in basketball to figure out ways to do different things. But at the end of the day, a travel's a travel, a double dribble's a double dribble. You go out of bounds, you go out of bounds. So we know how to play within the game in real time. And I think that's what's going to be amazing about this experience is people aren't just getting some like regurgitated information. They're getting like real time information. So I don't know.
Love it. Well, another idea popped up as you're talking about real time, right?
Yeah.
Only for the early adopters who come in before the business intensive section is even complete.
Yeah.
Foundational part. What if we, for people who came in, did a random drawing and said, look, we're going to do a business intensive with you live. So whatever you've been doing, whatever you've been doing, we can go over it. We can dive deeper. We can really figure out your messaging, figure out your avatar, figure out, what the strategy is. Put the strategy together live, and then that could be bonus content as well.
Yep, absolutely.
So people, because we're going to give it to them in sections, and then we'll see how it flows throughout one. I love it.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. That would be actually really good. Like, I would love to do stuff like website audits live.
Yeah,
like all that stuff. Like, just like throw it at our face. Like, just pull it up. Don't even let us see it before. I think that'll be fun because it's like it does prove that there is a way to think about this stuff. And I think that's really the part we're teaching, right? It's like you teach a man to fish, or you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. It's like I can see, and you said this, you take everyone's money, you can go to any industry. Same, it's like I can look at any website from any industry and be like, well, first of all, I'm confused. So the fact that I'm confused, that's a red flag. Just it don't matter what you're selling. It's like I don't even know what you're selling. So I just think there's a way to think, and I think we can help teach people the way to think, so that they don't always have to it's baked into who they are. So,
well, now I'm about to put you on the spot again.
Put me on the spot.
All right. After we finish this, I'm gonna have you look at this website that I'm having my client build.
All right.
Or one of my teammates, and we're working on it. Anyway,
absolutely.
All right, we'll audit a website really quick. It's a homepage. Just give me some.
Yeah.
But on this note, all right. So I've done a course before, but not. I mean, I went hard. I made like 60 videos. Never really published it. So this one, we're gonna go do it. I say all of that to say, me and you are both in the same spot, right? This is I've taken so much trainings on how to build memberships, how to build courses, how to do webinars, how to do all of these things, implementing them for my clients, but not necessarily for me. So it goes back to this question. Are you interested in creating the course, or are you committed?
I'm committed. At this point, I'm committed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like hands down committed. And honestly, too, after our conversation the other day offline, like I was thinking about it, and then like again, something magic happens when I'm on these calls with you. No, for real. I'm getting beat up all week in business, right? I'm trying to do all this stuff. I've got all these things going. I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to get time for myself, read books, all these type of things, right? Be a good husband, be a good father. And, sometimes you kind of forget about certain things. And as soon as we get on this call, I'm like, man, I love this. So yeah, I'm 100% committed. And you actually did a really good job. I don't think this is your goal, but you did a really good job of like actually even just painting a picture for me to be excited about. So I know if somebody's watching this, they at least can feel some of that emotion, because I'm like, man, let's do this.
Well, the
So
exciting part is so one we've talked about givers get with givers and magic happens.
yeah,
And we're both givers.
yeah,
So you can never whoever is a part of it, I will like lay down everything I have
yeah.
to make sure that they get what they need
Oh yeah,
to have success.
yeah,
This is not about making money. I
yeah,
mean, I love to make money, but this is more about serving people who actually need
yeah.
it. Okay.
This is. I want to add a little bit something to what you said, just from my perspective. Me and you are both givers, and we've talked about how we get burned a lot because we give, and we don't have any parameters in place to protect ourselves. So I feel like what we're building is literally a community where we can just give as much as we want, and at least we know that the people in this community deserve it, and it's a protection of ourselves,
Mm,
right? Us being able to give the whole kit and caboodle away without getting burned and getting, there's been so many people that just like hit me up on my phone and just like trying to take my time and take my energy. And it's like, man, how did I give access? How did I give you my number? Like, I didn't realize it was going to be like this, right? I'm not getting anything in return, right? And I think that this is one of those situations where, yeah, the financial aspect, even if it's really low, it's still a way for us to feel like we're getting something back. Like if you're willing to pay for this and jump into this community, it lets me know that like you're still filling up my cup with something. So that's why I'm excited, because now I can come in here just like you and just be just giving, 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 because I'm a giver.
yeah.
And so are
And,
you.
and you don't feel like you're being taken advantage of.
Exactly.
I
So
like it. Okay, with that being said, there's going to be work that we have to divvy up.
okay.
What I guess what I would commit to is I could build the members area.
Mm-hmm.
I can build landing pages. I can build a sales page, and we could tackle the VSL together. Whatever that looks like. I think maybe what I see on your end is maybe like the worksheets or
Mm-hmm.
whatever that looks like. Because I know you said you probably have some of that already.
Yeah. And I was even thinking too, like when you're in a course or when you're in a module and it's like one of our episodes, it's like I would like to go deeper in the text and pull out some stuff from the episodes, give some examples from the episodes in text format, as well as have like a worksheet. Because that's kind of like the thing I like to do is like that type of thing. So
Yeah.
I think I can kind of pull out the nuggets and pull out, even get extras, the extra tidbits, you know what I'm saying, and do that. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
Okay, so you heard it here first. It's cemented. We're
yeah,
committed to taking these parts and knocking it out. Awesome.
yeah.
All right, now I'm about to share my screen.
All right, go ahead.
And I would love for you to give me some feedback. Present. Share screen. Window. Oh, let's see if this works. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're probably squirming that this is built in Canva. But the
No,
no?
not
Okay.
really. No, I'm more practical now. I think it's at the end of the day, it's all that extra stuff just gets in the way.
Okay.
Whatever tool works for you, that's the tool you should use.
Love it. Now, this is just a design, right? The
Mm-hmm.
goal is to put it into WordPress using Elementor, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the core of this, we've just looked at design. We haven't looked at kind of verbiage. We haven't looked at, layout.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love your feedback on layout, and you tell me how fast or how slow you want me to go and what you see.
All right. So the first thing I want to who am I offending when I talk?
Doesn't matter. It's feedback,
All right. So
right?
so the number one I was set. Okay, so I'm gonna say a couple of things. Just these are just like gut emotions. Okay. So the one thing I will say is who's the target audience for this?
So the goal of this is so this gentleman does a few things. He does investing. He does coaching small businesses, medium-sized businesses. Not necessarily looking for new business,
Okay.
but he just needs a site that people can go to and reference what he does and who he is.
Okay. So, but who is that? Is it young people, middle aged people, older people?
It's
If
gonna be
we
older people. If you're gonna
okay,
say an age range, you're gonna be from 45 plus.
okay. So glad I asked that question because what I was gonna say is irrelevant.
Okay.
It looks all I was gonna say is it looks like you're 40. It's for 45 or 40 and up people.
Okay.
So and the reason I say that is because the whole concept of aesthetics, it's like there are certain things that certain groups of people like kind of like that whole perceived value.
Yep.
But when you're in that age group, you're a little bit more worried about solving your problem rather than the aesthetics of it. So we're good there as far as that. Before you wait. I think the number one thing I would say, I know you said it's not content, but it just doesn't say anything about what he does. So that's just it's
I'm okay with you giving feedback like that. I
okay.
just, there was no core focus to that
I
piece
see
of
what you're
it.
saying. Yeah.
It was
It's so
more of,
listen, I'll be honest with you. As far as it, like I just wanted to make the note that like it does look older, like it does look like it's for an older crowd. Um, and the only thing that I would say from a design standpoint is maybe you might want to go luxury car route or like borrow from not luxury premium brands. Okay, so there's a difference between luxury and premium. Luxury is you don't need it, you buy it for status. Premium is the most expensive version, but it's practical to solve your problem, right? So there is literally a finite difference between premium and luxury. I would say premium, borrow from some premium brands because 40-year-olds are going to buy the best skis and they're going to buy, and if they're investing, they're got extra money to do things with. So they're buying skis and they're buying North Face brand and they're buying extra like expensive Stanley cups, right? So I would maybe borrow from some of that from a design standpoint, but other than that, we're good. You can scroll down.
so for me, feedback I would give on this, I wouldn't have center text. I would
I was
left
gonna say,
align
bro,
it or right
I was
align
gonna
it.
say the same thing. No, it's almost like one of those things where it's like I wish I said it before you. Yeah, that center text is destroying me.
Yeah.
I'm
Can I
destroyed
edit it
with
or
that.
no? Oh, maybe I can edit it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it looks again. It's like it looks that when you. I'm gonna tell you exactly. Oh no, I wouldn't do that.
Left align it.
Yeah, because people read left to right no matter what side the text is on.
Got it.
When it's centered, it looks landing pagey.
Yeah, look, it looks so much better like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I honestly think that like I keep going. I need to take it all in because I think I already think I have other feedback. Um, yeah, definitely from a design standpoint, definitely some space on those logos.
White
It's like
space. Well, I
yeah,
would
like
take out all the backgrounds.
okay, then that's already solved itself.
Yeah, I would take out all the backgrounds, have it just be the PNG, and I might even do them the same color as these.
Yeah, that would look dope. But that's what I was talking about. Premium brand. That would look clean and elegant, and what I think those people who are willing to invest money expect to see. So I would definitely do the logos in the same color as those little like Greek,
Yeah.
like whatever those are, like wheat or whatever that is.
Yep. I like
All right,
that.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
All right. We're on the
Good,
same
good,
page.
good social proof.
Yeah, good social proof there. Which
Yeah,
we got to figure out if these are real or not. But
yeah. Again, this might be nitpicky, but it's just the logos look way too big.
too
It's a
big. I
little,
was thinking the
it's
same
a little
thing.
overwhelming. But I do like that there's icons though.
So when you think of premium brand or luxury brand, what would either the icon take its place, or how do you do that here?
Wait, say that again.
You're like, hey, take from luxury, premium. When it comes to icons, how do you feel that they approach icons or things like
Yeah.
that? Like these premium.
So, all right. So I definitely, and this again, I definitely will make custom icons. Um, and I definitely would do not line icons, but um more of like the solid filled ones, and just a little bit more because it this looks like icon library. You
Mm.
know what I mean? So so yeah, I would definitely, and I would probably do like two colors on the icons or something like that. But I would just say it's more silhouette, right? More simple, more silhouette type icons. Oh, wait, real quick. And for that, I would go take inspiration from a bank, like Chase Bank or one of these New York banks. That's where I would probably take my inspiration from for some of the stuff on this page is a bank.
Love
Like
it.
one of those commercial banks though. Like not a private bank, like a commercial bank like Chase or something like that. All right, go ahead.
Got it. I feel
Um
like the font is too big,
yeah,
and there's not enough contrast between these two. So maybe lowering the font. That's what I would look at.
yeah, and I would say this too, and this is not really no one's fault. I don't actually think it's anything but just my own. But like the whole like mock-up thing that just looks like
Yeah.
this doesn't exist. It's just we made it look like it exists. Like that kind of is like been played out. But it's really hard. If this is like a skateboard version of this, then it's fine, And as you,
But for the 40-year-old people, they like this.
yeah,
They're like,
I
"Oh, this is real."
I'll be honest with you. I think what the 40-year-old person would prefer is to see if I think they don't. I think they would prefer like actual like stack of books or something like that or whatever. Like it's another reason to show social proof. Now, is this a digital book?
I don't know. I hate Kindle, so I don't know. I would get rid of Kindle and maybe use an
Yeah,
iPad.
yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, again, if we're talking about premium brands, right? Apple definitely is Apple's not a luxury brand; it's a premium brand.
yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely get rid of Kindle. Because here's the thing: even the people that own Kindles know that the iPad is better. So just showing the iPad lets them know, like, oh, this is like a solid company. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
So
maybe some of these buttons are too big, and I'm gonna
okay.
tell you why I think that. Because the buttons seem like I want you to click me, like I need you to click me. Please click me, and I just think it's like there's like desperate buttons.
Mm. I would also think this background image, I don't know how clear you can see it, but I don't even think you need it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a plain white background will do the cleanliness of it.
Yeah,
Clean.
and that's what I mean by aesthetics too. Aesthetics isn't necessarily like just how good does it look. It's also the cleanness and the margins and the spacing and all that type of stuff, right? So, yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I would maybe even bring this closer to here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do this. I didn't even know I can edit this right now, but
yeah.
I would
I
like
would make
maybe,
that other stuff smaller too. Like you don't need those.
and then I would do something like that. Like,
Yeah,
what do I? I'm not used to this at all. And
yeah.
then
That
maybe,
see that looks a little bit. Yeah, you don't need. Listen, if you're saying the right thing, you don't got to trick people with big text. Like they're not going to be like, "Oh, it's big. I got to read it." Like it's like that don't work no more. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's in my opinion. Again.
yeah, and maybe it needs to be a different style of text.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to text, unless it's like a super brand, like a super, super duper brand, like meaning that like people don't care, like Lamborghini, it's like they can use whatever text they want. No one, you're gonna buy a Lamborghini, right? There's only you don't actually don't have to be creative with the text for headlines and reading. Every website I make for anybody, I use the same fonts because they're just readable and the headlines look good and the sub headlines look good and the actual paragraph text looks good. So I don't ever be creative in that area.
But even just this, I gave it more space up here.
Man, that's so much better, man. That's so much better. So much. And get rid of that background too.
I don't know how. I think I just hit.
Oh man, come on. My brain was like, thank you, Jesus. Now I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not overwhelmed. This looks like I can accomplish this section. I can read through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. That's 1,000 times better.
Small, see, and it just takes small little adjustments to make huge difference. Because
Exactly.
making this an Apple thing will totally change that as well.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And there's better mock-ups that look more real. That's
okay. I'm gonna look down here and see what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. This is how I would do this section. I'm gonna move this. Whoa. Okay. I don't know what's happening here. What I would do is I would put these sideways.
Whatever you're about to do, I know it's gonna be better, but I would not have it on white.
Okay.
I would have it on that dark background and have the text be white. So it's a pattern interrupt. That white is just distracting to me. And there's those shadows. Again, I don't want to offend nobody, whoever made this.
Again, left alignment, of course.
Yeah. It's just the white it's distracting.
If I was going to use a board, it doesn't let me. Maybe this way. I don't know. I don't know what I would do with this, but I would change it a little differently.
Yeah, I would just have them stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And kind of in the middle, right? So like you don't have to go all the way from left to right. It could just be like the middle column, or you know what I mean? Yeah, that's a lot easier to read than going left to right. And honestly, it's just the center text. Center text, I really rarely use center text. Even when I do 3 columns, I still do left aligned. And I just have the icons and stuff be left aligned too. It actually looks really good because at the end of the day, it's like there's a fine line between design and like readability, right? And so you're optimizing for both. You want it to look good, but you want it to be perfect for the human brain, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Can you go up to the top? I just got one thing. I just got one little thing to add.
All the way?
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't add this. I just feel like there's no I know it's just for a newsletter, so it's really not it's a low micro commitment. But like this, there's no stakes. It goes scroll down under the hero section. It just goes into like who he is, and then go down a little bit more, and it goes into like how good he is, and go down a little bit more, and then it goes in what you'll learn, and then go down a little bit more, and then it goes into what he's built, go down a little bit more, and then it's like what people are saying about him and his stuff, go down a little bit more, and then it's some blog articles. The people are going to be like, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Like, why should I be doing these? Like help me position to me why this matters. So I just think there needs to be a section at the top before you get into his amazingness of, hey, here's the problem. Here's the type of person that might have this problem. And then here's kind of like what you can do. And they're like, okay, you got my attention. And then you go into the authority. So that's just my own opinion.
So and I know maybe a section. Is it a whole section or is it?
It's a whole section, man. It can literally be like 3 columns. Like, you know, are you asking yourself these questions, or are you having these problems, or have you been thinking this lately? Like, where's my retirement coming from? Is my money? But like, you got to give somebody something in their head that they can align with. And then they're like, oh, and then it says, well, I have the solution for you, or just join my newsletter and here's how that will make you better. It's really just, it don't have to be a lot. It just needs to be something again, we think we're all the main character.
Yeah.
So like if he's trying to be the main character at the beginning, people ain't trying to be a part of your movie. They want to be a part of their movie. So I think you know what it used to be though? It used to be Dr. So and so, he's so amazing. Now it's not like that. There's 1,000 Dr. So and so's, you know? Yeah. So you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
I'm
All
preaching
right.
to the choir.
Well, I appreciate it. Look, that is what this is about.
Yeah.
Going live.
Yeah.
Giving you the opportunity to see how and I think that helps other people too as they look at it and like, oh, is my text in the center?
Yeah, I would say listen, I'm gonna just say something that's gonna conceptualize what we were talking about. You're not the hero of the story, you're just a guide. So when your website looks like you are the hero, you got it wrong. In every movie, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, to Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter, you got Hagrid and all the other people that supported Harry Potter. That's who you are. Your customer or your client is Harry Potter or Luke Skywalker, or, you know, so you're just a supporting cast and it's okay. So put them first, hook them with that, and then go into like, well, here's why you should let me guide you. And then you can go into the like, how many awards you won and all your amazing photo shoots you've done and your suits and all that. Like you could do that. It's necessary because people still don't want to follow just anybody. Like they still want to know. They still want to be like, okay, but you're the one though. So, and like you said, it's emotion, logic, emotion.
Love
That's the formula.
There it is. Game over. All right. On that note, we're putting something together. It's going to be a deep dive into members area. Early adopters get a discount.
Yep.
All right. On that note, we out.
All right, man. Peace.